Alright, she's leaving. She's off to her new home. It's an emotional moment, you know? So I've been real busy. A lot of customer stuff, but I got a little bit more time on the car. Been doing panels. So we got the back firewall done. Just go show you. I started on the driver's side too. There's a little panel going on right there, and then I got those two done. So now I'm working on assembling a couple more quarter turn fastener plate kits. So here's what I use right here. These are the ones from Earl's. These are what I like. These are the plates. You got to rivet them together. That's what they look like when they're done. So I'm gonna assemble some more of these, and then I'll have just enough to weld in this next plate. I ordered up more. They're supposed to be here today. I ordered 15 packs of each, but they're not going to be here until Monday now. So holiday shipping stuff. So I will show you more as I build more. Stay tuned. Okay, so right now I'm working on some of the seat mounts. This is the new mount right there. Show you what it's looking like on the plasma table. So what I got going on, after I cut it out I'll show you, but basically it's gonna mount here and here. It's gonna be a plate that comes up and over. It's gonna come down and across the bottom. And then what I'm doing on this guy is I'm actually gonna make some adjustability so you can actually raise or lower the seat just a little bit. Don't know if I'm gonna need it, but it's there for the cool factor. You know, maybe we got some insanely short or tall person. I don't know if it's gonna help. So I gotta go cut this plate out, see if it fits. Then I gotta go buy some more material. But what I gotta do next is I gotta actually weld a bar between here and under here so this plate will land right there. So there's some of the interior. It's actually happening, but we are on a time crunch.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. They don't wanna see me make it, they don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared I walk a straight path. Not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb. And I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up. Cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Love this thing, Mr. Gasket. Ooh, we might be in trouble now. I don't know if this thing's gonna come out now. Before, these tabs weren't in the way, they would just slide down off the bottom. And now we got that little corner in there, kind of trapping it. Oops. I'm gonna go play with this, so see what happens. did see coming out on the market, looked like there's some 110 units coming out there. So maybe interested in one of those guys, because that's the restriction on these LS engines, is the intake opening right there. That kind of limits what you can do. So even though you got a whole ton of head, you know, that can flow a whole gobload of air, does you no good if you can't get it in the motor. So I don't know, maybe I'll be looking into that 110 coming up. So I am going to start forming up that piece, and we'll do a little filming along the way, all the way up through, you know, putting the Earl's quarter turn fastener plates in there. I'm gonna get in there and trim that out right there. So the piece of cardboard, my mock-up cardboard, that's how I did this. It fit in a lot easier, and I've been pretty successful. Like, I built this whole car with this car seat box from Costco, so it's been a pretty good buy buying that for my daughter, so it came in handy. So let me go trim that piece up. Let's go trim this. That's what we're gonna take off right there. I know this is kind of boring and too exciting, but if you want to see some content, it's what you get. Like maybe a little bit right here, but other than that, man, like, it's not a bad looking piece. I think I'm actually going to take it a little bit more, just right there. see if I can film this without making it look kind of weird, but I've been kind of rounding off some of these panels here. So let's see if I can get this to do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay the edge that I'm gonna actually pound right here on this piece of tubing. So I want this to go like this. And then we're gonna take this Harbor Freight little hammer right here, and we're actually going to kind of describe this to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a striking motion where I'm actually going to hit directly on the top of the cope of the tube. And as I'm doing, I'm actually going to, in one motion, hit it and pull back on the hammer. That's actually going to help stretch the aluminum out, and then it's going to give it a nice little rounded coped edge. So let's see if I can film this for you guys. Go here more into the light. See, we got a nice curved edge right there. Show you what I'm up to with it. Ooh, yeah, we're getting close. So see, that was to kind of like give this more of a round edge, just like how I have right down here. Maybe on that tube. You know, just that way when your leg's rubbing on stuff, it's not rubbing on a sharp edge right there. I mean, that's right next to the gas pedal area, and anything for comfort will be nice. I mean, it's gonna be bad enough my foot's probably gonna be getting burnt, you know, during long races. So I just got visions of this Instagram post I seen from Lauren Healy where his whole heel, like all of the skin was just gone off of it from getting torched. And that's why I use this heat shield products on my headers. Also with having the headers, you know, coated anyways, you know, it helps a bunch with the heat. And then the bad thing about aluminum is it's a really good heat conductor. So if there's heat near it, it's going to heat up that aluminum, and if anything's near it, it's going to get hot too. So I'm going to keep forming up on this piece. I got to do a brake fold on it, so we'll go over there next in a second and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to be making, so I got a little mark right there, one right down there at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is how I got this fold right here, I'm going to put one right here, that way these two pieces are parallel, that way they overlap with each other. So pull this guy back out. Let's go take this over to this special unit right here. We're going to do some work with this. Man, get some crud here on the table. About time to clean this thing up. Okay, anyways. Okay, this is pretty easy to use if you've never used one of these. So I got my mark there, got my mark there. So you move this plate and you'll see there's an edge right here. And that's where these two pieces hold. So let's see if I can do this one-handed. So I'm gonna line up one there, line up one right with that edge. And then we take this little dude, we're gonna set that directly on top. We're gonna line up everything edge to edge, and then I'm gonna clamp it. So I gotta put the camera down for that. Okay. So this is one of those pieces from Harbor Freight. I've been using this guy for a couple years here in the shop. Works pretty good. It'd be nice to be able to have one that's actually a full 4 foot, to be able to put a full sheet in to bend it, but that's going to require some money. So now you just lift up. So let's give you a side profile. So there's one at bent it up to be. There's our piece. So I always like to undershoot anytime I'm doing a bend. I'd rather put it in 3-4 times and just totally mess up the piece. And something I was thinking about earlier, I know I'm rambling on, but when I was using the bandsaw and building this stuff, you know, I got into a habit actually in high school. I really want to thank my wood shop teacher, Mr. Kessling from Willits High School. That guy taught us kids so much stuff that was really important. I still use it every day in my business. So here I am 15 years into this. I still keep the same stuff he taught us and I apply it. And we actually had to measure out all our board feet, calculate it, and actually pay him for the wood we were going to use. And it was all raw wood. You know, we had to plane it, join it, do everything we were going to do with it before we'd make anything. So one of the tips he would always teach us is calculate all your cuts out of your piece, save all your scraps. Before you're going to cut a new piece, go to your scrap container, try to see if there's something that's useful. And in the class, a lot of kids would throw their wood that they paid for in the scrap pile. So if we needed to, we can go to that scrap pile and pull something out and use it without paying for it. So you got pretty creative on being able to make stuff out of other kids' things. And like I can remember taking several pieces of like little thin wood and just like ripping them and jointing them and then gluing them together to make giant boards, and then I'd run those through the planer and it would have a cool effect. So still today, I was even pulling out sheets of aluminum from my last few projects and just putting my cardboard templates on there, trying to figure out, will this piece fit like this? And am I gonna have enough material left on this one sheet to do the next couple panels so I don't have to like buy a whole new sheet of paneling just to get a piece out of it? So like, I really just, again, I wanna thank my wood shop teacher, Mr. Kessling. That guy was really good to us kids, and I think more kids should have paid attention in our class instead of screwing around. You guys would probably end up with some really cool jobs, and that's one of those teachers that really made a big difference. And I really just, I want to give him a thank you because it's important for me, because I still use that stuff. So I'm gonna get back to fabbing. Let's check out what we're doing here. Let's see if this piece fits in there. Yeah, once I get that tab in there, I'm gonna hit this a little bit more around it. But we're fitting in there perfect right now. That in there. I almost want to see if this fits in there. What if I tuck this behind here? Bad, but okay. So what it looks like here to me, this didn't actually do what I wanted it to do. So I need to take some of this back out. So we're gonna have to bend that back out this way. So there's a method to that too. So several methods. I mean, we could drop the piece on the floor and step on it. That works sometimes. Or we could kind of put it back in here, which is what we're going to do. And we'll take this piece. I'm actually going to set it right back down in there. This is kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but like, all we're going to do is we're going to squish it and flatten it back out. And sometimes this is easier said than done. So yeah, this is not really giving me enough to work with here, but I'm trying to hold it with my elbow, squeeze at the same time. Let's go down here, we're gonna do the same thing. So it is working. Pull this off, I'm gonna go a little bit, scoot it in the middle. So we still got a really nice edge on there. It didn't distort it in any way. So one thing too, I was actually talking with two different people yesterday about fab and stuff and being afraid of starting a business and things like that. And one of the people was like really afraid of, hey, I don't got enough experience, be afraid I'd let somebody down as a customer, and so I'm holding myself back. And I said, look, just get out there and try it. You're not going to please everybody, even if the job's done, and just do it anyways, you know. I started this with hardly next to any experience, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I've learned and taught myself almost all of it. So get out there, buy some tools. You don't have to buy expensive tools. You could see I got a ton of Harbor Freight stuff. I got Harbor Freight stuff in here that I bought over 15 years ago for the business, and I'm still using it. I'm still making money with it. You do not have to have the best tools. So that's something I just want to emphasize, go for. And the next person I was talking to yesterday is they were like actually saying, hey, my buddy Ross told me, you know, here's how you do things. And he was telling his coworker he was doing stuff incorrect. And while I respect that and everything, my comment was, look, there's no rules when it comes to fabricating, building stuff, mechanicking. Everybody's going to have their own ways, their own techniques, and they all work. So just find whatever works for you and just apply that and do it, you know, and don't be afraid. There's no rules. And the best part about this is the number one rule is to have fun with it. If there's a way to turn this into a type of art, which it is to me, you can laugh with it, realize you're going to mess up some pieces, but just put them in your scrap bin and save them for something else, because they'll fit. I got pieces under this table that sometimes sit for a couple years, and all of a sudden I pull it, I'm like, that's the right piece for this job. So I'm gonna shut up, I'm gonna get back to work. Let's see how this piece is doing. You get that aluminum dust up in your throat from days of doing this stuff, and it's like all over my clothes. It's like ending up in my bed, even after taking a shower. It's just, this stuff ends up everywhere. Dude, I'm even having these little sticker dots. Really gotta say, Phil, dude, I thought about you a couple days ago. There was one in my bedroom next to my bed on the floor in the carpet, and it's like, you know, these things are tracking home and with me on my shoes, but you gotta laugh about it, you know. All right, let's see, is this piece any better, any worse? What are we doing here? Very close. So that took off a bunch of it, but we're going to go just a little bit more until these edges are parallel with each other. Try not to do too much booty fab on this thing. Even though I'm running out of time, I want stuff like this to be really good, because this is part of the tech. You know, the firewall has to be sealed up, and I do not want to go through tech and put foil tape all over everything. That just is so ghetto. So I'm gonna get this thing fixed. Once it's correct, we'll start filming again. We'll show you how I put the quarter turn fasteners, how I mark the holes to drill them, because that's a really big thing. When I started doing this, I had to look all over the internet about how to actually, what quarter turn fastener pieces to buy, the plates, the springs, how to assemble them, how to put them on, and then the big thing was, how the heck do you mark the holes? I will show you coming up. So that panel's just about ready to go, but we need a couple more fasteners made, so I told you I'd show you how we do this. So these are the Earls. There's your part number for the springs. These are the actual plates. these are the rivets. So all we need to do is we need a rivet gun. Again, real cheap rivet gun. Razor blade to open up the package. I'll show you what the needle nose are all about. So let's start with opening up the springs. It'd be nice if these springs showed up in a box instead of this shrunk wrap stuff. These things suck picking out, so the reason I use the needle nose, I just literally get up under there, pull them out. So if you try to like cut these out with a razor blade or whatever, you're going to be in there forever. You're probably going to cut yourself. This seems to peel them out of the plastic the easiest, so that's what we're going to do right here. So open up those, throw that in the trash. Package number 2. I don't know, it took me probably 200 of these figuring out before I figured out, you know, this is like the easiest method to use to get these out of this package. Every once in a while one will fight you. You may have to pick some plastic off, but super easy. Now, let's open up these plates. The plates are super easy to get out, nothing fancy going on there. These just peel out. Boom, super easy. So I have not tried other brands of quarter turns. There's been no reason to, because these guys just flat out work. So here's how we're gonna do this. Take the plate, take 2 rivets. Rivets, literally, you just set them right in there. Take the spring, we'll set it right up under there. So let me zoom in so you can kind of see what's going on here. That's the orientation of it. And you're just going to carefully take the other one. There it is. That's your assembled unit right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and make up the whole 10 kit that I pulled out right now, and then we will go back over to the car. I will show you how I mock them up and then how to drill the holes. Okay, there's our quarter turn piece. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this, we're going to find a good spot on the panel where we want it, and then we're just going to lay it flat and then tack weld it. So that's kind of a good spot right there. So I like to wear TIG gloves while I'm doing this so I can actually feel what I'm doing. Otherwise I seem to want to drop the plates down. So again, we're just going to be doing a tack weld. Nothing like out of control on these. Okay, so you can see we got one down there. I want to put one more at the bottom, and then I want to try to get one up here at the top. So a lot of times this is, again, easier said than done because there's no room to get down there. So I'm probably actually gonna have to take these gloves off just because I cannot feel what I'm doing here. Yeah, so see if I can get the camera down there. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm trying to do all these trick shots and stuff, so we're actually gonna put this guy right down there, and I know you probably can't see that. That's okay. So I'm just gonna get down in there, tack that piece in, because it's just too much going on with all this crazy stuff. Oh, this is retarded. Okay, those guys are tacked on now, so we're gonna get in there. Pull this plate out for a second so we can get in there and weld up this without getting stuff all over everything. Dude. Guess there was one of those stickers right there. Whatever. Okay. Now, that's the fun part. Some stuff in my eye, but now I'm going to show you how I mark the holes. So I got, grab these out. These little guys right here, let's see how they got like a little dimple on them. You just literally take these, you just set it right in there. So I'm going to do that with all of them. These again are from Earl's. fancy work area. So we'll get this down right here. Set the panel right up. So I got a couple drill bits out that I'm using for this. So I'll do everything first with a little guy. Then I'll step it up. I think this is a 7/16. And then what I'll do with the hole, I'll go over it with this, because there's going to be a little aluminum that actually flares up on the hole. I don't want to get cut, so let me show you how I do this. It's a pretty quick procedure. Anybody can do this. So I'll just kind of feel for the little mark. Drill my holes. There's a cool method I'm going to actually show you in a second too. So I feel like I'm like just slightly off. So if you're really unsure if you drilled these holes right, I'll show you something. So as long as we leave these little marking buttons in place, we can take this panel, set it in there, and as you can see, that little button, it lines right up. So as long as, like right there, it's lined up, down that hole it's lined up. So I know the lighting's poor in here, but that's how you can actually check your work. Thanks, giving me grief. That's how you can check your work before you go and blow a bigger hole in it. And there's been times where my holes have actually been off a little bit, and I'll have to TIG weld them up, just sand it off, and then you'll never know and just re-drill a hole. So we're gonna go now drill the big guys. So take this out. Let's go swap to go over to this little other guy. So here, let me show you. This is probably pretty good. This is what we're gonna do. So you see, when we're left over, we got these little burrs. So I'm actually going to take this. I'm just gonna kind of knock down most of that. Doesn't always work, but gets the majority of it off of there. And then on the inside, I'm gonna do the same thing. Just barely. Now we got some holes. 1, 2, 3. Let's go back to the car. Let's see if our stuff actually fits. So let's go pop these guys out. Let's set homie back in here. Grab a couple quarter turns. Ooh, nice. That spring's a little loose, so I got a tool for that. It actually will screw it in, and it'll actually put pressure against the spring, it'll actually stretch the spring away from you. That way you can get more tightness on these things. Like that one's perfect. So here we go. Got the new panel. I mean, it's in there. Let's go set this other guy back in here. So we are just about there, you know, that's almost a full cockpit right there. So I gotta do, you know, tabs along this edge. And then there's a method to where we can actually drill some holes in the aluminum and put the little spring from the quarter turn right on the back of one side, and then we can use a longer quarter turn button head, and it'll reach through and capture through both of them to clamp them together. So we'll go over that shortly, but I got to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. I did not want to drive you guys nuts with 30 panels of making. It's a lot of work. Who really wants to watch all this amount of effort? I know I wouldn't. So I'm going to fast forward, show you guys when everything's actually completed. But as you can see, passenger side's pretty close. So now we're left with just capping the top, building the slight doghouse right there, and that's where we're also going to mount some of the radios. The Holley EFI ECU is going to go under there too, and I'm going to do it just like what I did on the other car. So we're going to have just a wall slightly coming up and a table top cover right here. That way we can have all this open to get into there. Get to the wiring really easy. And I don't know about you guys, but I hate the claustrophobic feeling of having a giant dash that comes out, you know, all the way to here and down. It's just stupid to work on the car at that point. I started doing like a 2/3 dash on the last car instead of all the way across horizontally. Makes things so much more roomier. It's easier to get to things, and I like just fast stuff. So in the middle of a race, the last thing you want to have is a car that's seriously a pain in the ass to work on. So enjoy, have a good night. I'm out of here.
Are you done yet?
I'm not done yet. What are you doing?
Do this.
I'm doing that. Okay. What? Did you get it with the pliers?
These are mine.
I know those are yours.
I'll give myself this.
You're getting, okay.
But that's okay.
There's a pen. Okay, we got a couple more. 1, 2, and 3. Looks like my daughter's having a blast over there. What are you doing in there?
Doing something to that.
Want to say hi, YouTube?
Hi.
Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, you two.
Close enough. So here I got a pack of these rough stuff trick tabs. These are pretty cool. Just took some of these, break one off. So I'll show you what I'm doing. Let's get in this cart. Okay, so I took the bottoms of them. Show you my B&M shifter. So I just kind of trimmed a little bit off the bottom. There's the profile right there. What we're gonna do is gonna set these bad boys right up on there. That's gonna be the shifter mount. So I already measured with the seat in the car to see where I wanted this thing. Before, I used to just cut some tabs off the plasma, but hey, for time savings and a nice product, let's use this. Yeah, look at that. All right down there, nice and neat. So I may as well just throw a couple more tack welds on. I'll unscrew this thing and then we'll burn it in. We're gonna have to get a wrench out for this thing. Seven 16ths right here. This thing, take this off. I know, super exciting, right? You finished eating your sucker? Can you go sit down with that, please? I don't want you walking with a sucker in your mouth.
There you go.
All right, well, go put it in the garbage then. You want to go back to watching Paw Patrol? Yeah, in a minute. What?
I got my goggles.
You got the goggles? Okay. Fine with me.
I'm working with you.
You're working with me? Okay. got your work goggles?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm getting my hammer.
I'm getting a hammer.
Oh man. I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
You're gonna start building stuff? There you go. All right, thank you. All right, you're doing a good job, bub. You getting your car all ready?
Yep.
Yep.
I need one more thing.
What do you need?
I need this.
No, I'll put that down.
What should I can need then?
I don't know.
Huh?
All right, well, our battery's about ready to die. It's at 2%, so I actually want this thing to save. That's what I got right here, dude. These are from Tractor Supply, dude. And I like them. I can actually move around and feel and like, I don't know. I like it.
pair of these, but I don't know what I'm looking for.
All's good till I dipped it in there. Oh, crud. It's not the prettiest, but it's glued together. Off to the next. ton of garbage in that. Do pretty good across the whole thing, and now it's like pulling just shit out of it. May just have to let it cool down too. That's part of the problem. Figures, I mean, I don't know, I was doing okay, and then that nasty thing happened. not bad. So I'm making the housing right here that's gonna put the 12-inch Holley Pro Dash back in, and I'm doing a slight change from the last car. So the last car I had it mounted directly right here. This guy, I'm gonna put it directly over here. Reason is during the Lake Havasu race, we were racing in the dark, and that screen was so bright it was starting to give me a migraine, and that's like all I could see was when that light was in my face, and then you got the darkness up ahead. My eyes were not adjusting to it, so I kept like taking one hand and covering up the screen and then driving with the other hand, and that was really hard to do that safely. So I'm gonna move the dash out of my way, and then I'm even considering making like a sun visor flap to cover the dash, so when we do night races it just ain't gonna be bright at all. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna fit this piece in here and then keep building the rest. Kind of a long piece. So I'm working on here. This is what the other side of the Holley EFI dash is going to go into. And I got this giant hole right here, and this is where the air filter is going to stick out of the side. So part of this I'm welding on part of the old cover, so it's got all kinds of racing debris on there and things. I've tried to clean it. Some of it's still kind of coming out as I'm welding, but I'm not a perfect TIG welder anyway, so let's get back to it. actually doing is I'm actually using the foot pedal to basically kind of like do a manual pulse. I mean, this machine does pulsing all by itself, but I just find that the rhythm works better for me doing it myself, especially as the pieces start to heat up. So if you just do a standard setting, it might work in the beginning, and then when you're like halfway through the weld all the way till like the end of the piece, it's just too hot. So you do it yourself, it works a lot easier. I got a little bit of a disaster to deal with. Get the gloves off because I can never do this with gloves. So I mean, it's not bad. It's not like perfect or anything, but now I gotta go and weld this piece because right when I hit it, it just got hot and fell off. So I'm gonna fill that thing in and then go mount this back up. There it is, all completed. Welded up on the corners. Piece is still kind of hot, but there it is. Let's see if we can kind of set this in the car without burning myself. It's hot in here. So I got to do a little bit of finessing, but the screen goes right in there. I'll actually attach this, you know, down, and there's one on the inside too. But hit this with the flap center. We'll take these lines out so they're perfectly flush. And then again, the air cleaner is going to go through that hole right there. Let's get a quick little view of this dude. That'll pop through like that, you know. So a lot of work, not super pretty, but it is glued together. I'm happy with it. So it's not a structural piece, it just holds the dash screen in there. But check it out. I do got to get a longer snout for the orbital so I can pull the wheel back a little bit. But we got more room now for the Willwood. I got another pedal showing up tomorrow. I think it's Stainless Brothers. Prefabricated TIG pedal. It's kind of cupped on the bottom, help hold my heel. And that's gonna go down on the floor. That'll take care of the pedals. I still need to make a tin to kind of go over the hydraulic lines, even though we got some burst sleeves on there. Still wanna just take some precaution. But it's coming together. I anticipate maybe 2 days tops on the interior, and that should be done. And again, I want to try to go with no dashboard. I really hate dashboards. I think they make cars a pain in the butt to work on. I still got to mount the GPS and the radio. So those are the next things. I like usually mounting the radios down along the side right here. I like to be able to adjust the controls. I do not like when I have to have the co-pilot do it, because sometimes I don't race with the co-pilot. The GPS will honestly probably go right in this area, down below this sight line right here. You know, that way as I'm driving, I can still keep it out of the corner of my eyeball so I can see. I don't like having to turn my head to look. So this should really help a lot, because my big goal with this car was sight line visibility. I'm tired of not knowing where I'm going. I'm tired of running over stuff that I didn't know was there and having to memorize every single thing that's coming up every few feet. I've got good at it, but I could do better if I could actually see where I'm going. So that's why I'm not building a tall dash. I don't want the lights in my eyes. I'm gonna build a cover still for this Holly dash, and same for the GPS too, because that thing even blinded me at the Lake Havasu race, and anything to just dim the light would seriously help. Even with the auto dim features, it still wasn't enough. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I gotta get out of here, but I will be back at it tomorrow and hopefully making a new video shortly for you guys. All right, have a nice day and thank you for watching.
Aluminium.
So I need to make a hole for the battery shut-off isolator switch. So I don't want to buy a hole saw that's that size. So I'm going to use the plasma table to actually get in there and burn a hole in there. Oops, I made a goof. I made the cutting edge on the outside instead of the inside of the circle. So I need to go fix that. Ah! So what I got going here is we need to mount these double shear tabs. Oh, this is ridiculous with this light. Anyways, so I got these about where I want them to be. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out a plate that's gonna go from here to here. Just a flat plate, and this is gonna sit on, and then we're gonna do the same thing for the other side. So I already got everything in place for that. So we're just gonna get really simple with this. Take some measurements, transfer it to the paper. From the paper, I'll go over to the burn tables, go edit some stuff on there, cut some plates, and then I'll show you welding them in. Super simple this morning. That's what we're gonna do. And then after the 4 tabs are put in place, we'll weld the double shear tabs. Then we'll set the floor pans back down. I'll trace the slots for them. And then we should have basically a done interior at this point. Holy cow. Then we get on to wiring, plumbing, all that good stuff. And then this is the mess that we have to put in right here. So that's the rest of the fuel system, the wiring. So it shouldn't be too horrible, maybe 2-3 days tops. That stuff should be all in, and then we should have a functioning car that should turn on and off. So okay, these are going to be some of our tabs. Let's see. Oh, it's about time for some cleanup under here. Holy cow. There we go, there's some more. So we're going to clean these guys up. So they look good on one side. This stuff's got to get cleaned. Here's how I clean these things. Where's my chunk of metal? Here we go. Pretty easy. I just kind of set this up here, give a little chip, and then the scale comes right off, or the slag, whatever you want to call it. The swarf, garbage. So pretty easy. So you got that. That's what it looks like cleaned up. If you got your settings on your plasma pretty good, this stuff will chip off really good. So thing's hot. So I'll finish chipping these in a second, but let's give you a rundown of what these are all about. Let's go set this guy kind of down. So we're gonna weld that. Gosh, the lighting is terrible in here, but gonna weld this plate in here. It's gonna go get stacked on top there. You can see a pretty simple thing how to do this. So, all right, stay tuned. Okay, there's our plate right there. And then drop this rough stuff, double shear, right on top of it. So that's what's going to be happening right there. Let's get to it. I decided to try to put a light up. Let's see, hopefully it doesn't blind me to death. That should do it right there. As good as it's gonna get. Probably should cover that dash back up too. Probably get the wire brush out too for this. time to burn some stuff. I'm okay with that. Not bad, you know, it's on there. Now, ideally, I would have liked to have these angled a little bit more back, but because I've already welded the parts in place like a smart guy, this is what we got. So we go and put that right there. And I'm gonna go a little bit on the outside, just so it's not completely rubbing right there. So just a little tack weld. Oh, there's my messenger again. Must be that cute chick from Oklahoma. Maybe. So anyway, so this is what we got here. I'm gonna go ahead and do the tab on the other side and tack it together, and then I actually want to pull the seats back out so I can weld all this stuff up. I do not want spatter on my new Race Quip seats. I really like these things. I'd like to keep them hole free for a while. So I will show you the finished product. You know, one of these days, I'm gonna look back when I got like 500,000 subscribers, and I'm gonna wonder to myself why I did not do this years ago. This stuff is so exciting. To have the chance to be on TV, even though it's not like, you know, paying job or nothing like that. But I can remember being 13 years old, hanging out with my dad, and we'd be watching American Chopper, if you guys ever remember that, and just seeing the builds going on there, the ideas. Every job was always different that they were doing, and just having the time to watch it with my dad was super magical. We were both into motorcycles. I still am. And you know, getting forward to watching it on Saturdays, I think it was Saturdays, it's so long ago, you know, but it was on Discovery Channel, and to watch those guys start out in a little shop, work their way into this massively big old shop, and spawning 2 different TV shows from it. You know, you never know where things are gonna go. And I think if people don't take the opportunity to try to see what they're capable of, you just never do nothing. And I think that we as people, we're the only ones that hold ourselves back by saying, you know, we can't do something, the timing's not right, the production's not right, I don't have the coolest camera, or my video skills aren't that great at editing. I think my biggest piece of advice is to just do it, no matter if it's terrible or not, because there's going to be somebody out there that is going to like your stuff, and there's still going to be people out there that don't like your stuff, and that's totally okay. You know, what matters is if you actually enjoy what you're doing and believe in it, and that's the reason why I'm still here. So 15 years in business. I mean, I remember everybody told me I could not, nobody was going to pay me, you know, to go and do what I do. And I'd like to actually share a piece with you guys. This is kind of important to me because it still have it. So I got this whiteboard right here. You see that right there? So this is the whiteboard that when I started at Kelly Auto doing some work, when Mark gave me a job, which was like the best thing in my life because I really wanted a job from him. And then he let me clear out a spot in the back. I was able to start doing some side jobs in there along with working for him still. And I started doing straight axling of Toyota pickup trucks, and the work wasn't my best work. I had a cutting torch that I borrowed from Mark. I had a Harbor Freight grinder, and then my welder was actually a Harbor Freight flux core welder. It was horrible, you know, but it got me enough money saved up to go open up my own business, and that's a story for another video. But I was scared to death going and doing it. $1,200. I had this tiny red toolbox that I still actually have over there in the back that I bought actually from my first paycheck from Kelly Auto. And it's everybody told me I couldn't do what I'm still doing today. Nobody believed in me except for myself. But when I told my dad actually I wanted to do this, he told me to go and do it. So this right here, this is right where I wrote my shop name, right on that same billboard, the whiteboard, and it's been there ever since. So I got somebody banging on my shop door. Let's see what's up. So I'm back. That was a friend outside, Craig. He was stopping by to say he had a stick of chromoly for me. But what I was trying to say is I literally wrote this on this board. I've never wiped it off. It was the day after I came up with my shop name. I was actually driving back from Eureka. I had to go grocery shopping, and I came up with it. I wrote it down on a piece of paper in the car. When I got to the shop on Monday, I wrote it on the whiteboard, and everybody literally talked shit to me about it, you know, and I really didn't care. Everybody could freaking pound sand, dude. And I believe in what I do. I've always believed in what I still do. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm still making it. I'm feeding my daughter and I, you know, and I get to go race. I got customers that are happy. And so follow your dreams. I know this has nothing to do really with this video per se of the fab, but this car, my last car, everything that I do, this has all been part of my dream, and I'm still on my journey to get to there. So I encourage you to do the same thing, no matter what it is. Don't take no for an answer. Don't tell yourself you can't do something. Believe in yourself and just commit and do it, even if you're unsure and scared. That's the best time to make a decision to go and do something. So I'm gonna get back to putting this stuff together. Something like that. Again, pretty cool piece, double shear tabs, rough stuff. I've been using these guys' stuff for years in the shop for customer projects. It's pretty cool to even have them as a sponsor too. Especially when they come to hammers. Burning my fingers. You ever had to fix your stuff down there? Those guys got the welders and everything. I love it. I think a cool thing would be to do is to literally film a video down there at Hammers using their booth, build something like, put a whole lift kit on, or even cooler, get down there with the plasma cutter, torch out a whole IFS out of a Toyota, weld up a straight axle kit and go wheel it down at Hammers. Like, that's something I know I could do it. A couple jack stands, a plasma grinder, and a welder, and of course a tape measure. You know, I could bust out something like that and make some sick stuff for you guys. That's what I would love to do. That would be a great video. So if you guys are listening, take some notes. I've still got a weld to underneath, but we're getting there. Feeling like I kind of need a little bit of this welder jelly. Gotta love all the advanced positions to get in here and do all this stuff. Okay. You know what that means? That means the driver's side has all 5 seatbelt locations now. So we got this bar, we're gonna wrap them around up here, and then we got the 3 double shear down here on the sides. And I got the proper angles of the belts. That's gonna be nice. Let me get my butt out of here. Time to get the bottoms. Let's see here. Sometimes this camera, man. Let's get under there. Gotta love that upside down welding. Actually not that hard once you get used to it. big trick I got for welding upside down is actually increase your wire speed. It'll actually help you a whole bunch, seriously. So if you're struggling upside down on a weld, and just turn it up, you know, maybe 5 to 8 more inches per minute, you know, on the dial. You'll get going to where you want to be. That almost looks like a machine welded, that sucker right there, dude. I'll take that any day. So, time to go do the other side. Let's see what kind of cool view we can come up with. Steel ruler, it's like one of the greatest inventions ever made right there. Let's get this guy going. Let's see. I'm gonna do something really quick here. I don't like I want to actually get this plate right there like that. So in order to do that, I got to nip this corner out right there. So there we go. Actually fits better now. great. Pretty good. So I don't know if you guys are noticing, but when I get ready to go and weld, I'll get the welder, torch. I'll put it to where I'm going to start, and I'll actually do like a pull with my hand to simulate the whole movement that I'm going to do throughout the whole weld. And I do that to make sure my position is comfortable, for one, and for two, it's not going to like hit something partway through the weld and give a weird appearance or make me stop. And that's a really good tip. I picked that up actually off of a video, Jesse James. He was actually showing, I think it was his son, how to do some welding. I think I seen this 3-4 years ago on YouTube. And it's a piece that like stuck with me, and I've been doing it ever since, and it actually has given me more stability and a better quality of the look of the weld, just by doing that. So it's a habit that I've picked up, and I encourage you to try it out too. So just try to do the whole movement before you even actually do the weld. See what it's going to look like. Maybe you got to prop up different or reposition something, or your jig set up differently. Try it out, it might help you. Alright, let's go for the next one. Stuff this one in there. Pretty darn good to me. had to go crazy with that stick out. Almost starting to feel like we got jungle gym going on here. Piece got warm. Okay, that's like seatbelt mania time right there, dude. I like that. There's a weld over here I missed on this. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up for this video. I got so much footage I need to load it up for you guys. What I'm gonna do while this is loading, goddamn, kind of out of breath from climbing in and out of this damn thing. I gotta cut the holes in the floorboard for these tabs just here and here, times 2 plates, and then that'll be basically, I think, just about a done interior, you know, minus a little bit of sanding here and there on some of the edges that I need to take off and round out. But this is a big accomplishment. This is a lot that I just did. So thank you for watching. I want to know if you guys want me to film differently, you want to see different things throughout the rest of the build, maybe a video about another topic. I want to get one coming up soon about welding, because I got a lot of experience in welding. This is my favorite thing to do. So let me know what you guys want to see, how you want to see it, type of discussion, things like that. But thank you for following me on my build. There's a lot of stuff to go. It looks kind of like crap because we're all covered up so we don't get spatter on, you know, the shock shafts or the whole hydro steering, but there's a lot of stuff going on there. Woo, we got a number plate. It's been a fun journey. I'm trying to goal to have this thing done in a little under 3 weeks. I can actually go test it here at the Shasta Off-Road Park before we go truck it down to Johnson's Valley. So like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, support my dream, support my channel, come visit my store website, buy some parts. help me to get down to the race course. All right, I hope you guys have a good day and a good Christmas coming up. Enjoy.